I am a soul blazer. I change lives, I touch people's souls, and I open them up. I teach people how to be present and to be in their authentic soul. Do you guys know what imposters are? These untrained imposters, they reside on the stage of our brain, and they're trying to control us. But usually what happens is they make things worse. But the good news is that we can control them. We could take over and we could teach them to work for us instead of against us. Hi, I'm Lisa Haisha. Welcome to the SoulBlazing Mastermind podcast. And I'm so excited today because I have a dear friend, a new dear friend that I just met a couple of weeks ago, but he's very close to several of my friends that I've known for over a decade. And let's see. Can you hear me now? Okay, so there's some sound issues, but let's just keep going. So Phil is a German filmmaker. He's a writer and a visionary whose work blurs the lines between dream and reality. Deeply influenced by transcendental meditation and the philosophy that creation begins within. And he uses his film as a spiritual language, turning pain into sweetness, darkness into light. So I want to welcome Phil. Hi, Phil. Can you hear me? He's in Germany and he said he couldn't hear me. So can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you loud and clearly.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. We keep interviewing these people in different places with bad internet or technology, but it's really wonderful to have you here. And I'm so glad. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy day in Berlin to be here and with the time difference and everything else.
It's so great to be here. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. I just met you recently and a couple of weeks ago, and I said, oh, come stay with me. And you stayed with me for a few days and we got to know each other and we realized that we're deeply connected and on the same soul journey and had similar backgrounds, even though they're nothing similar, but the consequences are similar and the emotions are similar and what we had to come through is similar. So I feel like you're, part of my spiritual family. So what I wanted to dive in today, because we could talk about a number of things because you're so well versed in everything I love, but film and spirituality and the link between those. And you use film as a spiritual language. And I love that. So why don't you first talk a little bit about that? And then I want to get into something else right after you finish.
Okay. I'm Phil. I'm from Germany, and I'm a filmmaker since I'm 5 years old because my grandmother gifted me her 8mm film camera, and we ran around the neighborhood and doing like short films, really on film back then. And yeah, that was truly magical because when you're a child, you don't have any boundaries in your head. Just go with the flow and everything is magical, everything is possible. And yeah, that's truly a thing I remember all the time. And I tried to keep it up to I'm 38 years now, and I'm trying to keep it up to be a child, a huge child.
Wonderful. Yeah, so many of us forget about that. And we get into life is serious and you got to go to college, then get a job and work hard at that job until you're 50 or 60 and then you retire. And there's something wrong with that because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And I want to talk about, that a little bit with you. You said as a child, you were deeply connected to spirituality and you eventually got into transcendental meditation. But I teach the imposters, the joker, the narcissist, the victim, the overthinker, and you connected to the joker. And the joker, I think, is like the trickster, and so I just want to know, how did the joker shape your childhood experiences and how did that bring in humor and rebellion in your life?
Oh, that's a long story. Okay, where shall we start?
Well, just share like how it shaped you into who you are at 38 years old, this filmmaker and this person who's thirsty to taste all of life and to create and to help other people.
Yeah, maybe it was like I had a very beautiful childhood when I was outside, when I ran around with the camera, and I felt really connected to everything, to the fear of the neighbors, for example, of the beauty of everything, of trees, of this great oneness around us. And when I came to school, they said everything is wrong. You have to sit in line. You have to be here like for 6 to 8 hours and learn stuff from some people who lived like 500 years ago. But they don't have really relevance of today's life or how we feel or how we act in everyday life. And it was really, I forgot about that. It was like I was suppressing and building walls around this spiritual connection. And then there was like, when I was a student, when I had freedom again, like well, I took back my freedom, I really teared down these walls and connected to everything again and getting into the moment and just be open-minded, open-hearted, and just on the streets, I just go to a stranger and say, "How's it going?" And when I was in Los Angeles, it was insane. It's like totally different than in Germany. People were doing interviews with me and telling their life stories, and I had this camera all the time, and like preserving that life is truly magical. And that's maybe the main thing, when this joker, when this connection to everyone is so strong, you can't bury it under anything. It's like coming up again and again, and then you are, yeah, then you keep your track, like the universe is pulling it towards the direction you're meant to go, where you want to be.
Yeah. So how did you shape your life? What did you do before becoming a filmmaker where you're actually making a living off of it? Like, what, who were your mentors and what was your stepping stone in your process to get rid of your childhood wounds and to say, I'm going to
Hmm.
use this force of that probably was negativity and brought you down, and how can I use it for good and create art with it?
It was from very early on. There were things I accepted, and there were things like the neighbors said. I remember that vividly. That they said you're a danger to our community because you're filming everything. Because many Germans are afraid of being filmed because they think they lose control about their right of where their faces are shown. For example, in Germany, there's a right like that, and they were really afraid of that. But on the other side, when they saw the results, it was like truly magical to them. And then I saw as a young child, okay, the adults aren't always right. They don't know everything. And they can learn from us children, from us kids. And that is what I do today. I listen to kids a lot when they tell about how they see the world. And that is like really, I can't, even if I want to, build up these walls again, because I'm so open-minded to everyone and I speak to everyone on an eye level, even on to dogs and cats, and how I really try to envision how they see the world. And yeah, that is truly important. And it is very hard in Germany because there are like only numbers, bureaucracy, and this like uniformity. It's like a harsh word, but it's not a strong opinion, but it's really like this. It's flowing everywhere. Don't stick out and be like everyone else. And for me, it was like, no, I want to stick out, but in a positive way, like in a me way, and giving back hope to people and giving back. And then all the people, the mentors, I don't know, you just came along the way. Like the universe said, here is your, this is your present for sticking to yourself.
Hmm. Oh, sweet. Nice. Yeah. So I wanted to talk to you about ego then. So as a child, you were told, don't do this, don't do that, or you're odd, you're strange, you're the devil. And then still, persevered. And then people thought, wow, that's kind of interesting. And so then you went, oh, maybe I know more than some adults do. You're on the spiritual path and you're listening to your soul speak and following your own, beat of your own drum. So ego could come in. especially when you're in front of a camera or you're in control of a lot of people or you're creating these wonderful little masterpieces. So where does the ego come in with all this, and tied in with transcendental meditation that you've done? So how do you combat that? Did transcendental meditation help you calm the ego or the narcissist imposter?
Yeah, very recently, like 4 years ago, there was this opportunity. I was very successful in German film business, and we had a great company, and everything was great because we were really serving the client that they achieved their goals. It was not about us, it was about them. And then I had the opportunity whether I took this money and go to the States, or I put it somewhere where I get even more money. And I was greedy. My ego was like saying, "Hey, what will the people think about you when you achieve this?" But there was no heart behind it, you know. And for this example was very very intense because it still has impact on today. But that was so. It was like an ego trip for several months, but it was so great that I had that because now I know how it looks like. Now I know how it looks like when its full power is unleashed, and I can sense it now from the very beginning. And it's like really, I believe in God, and when there's like time, and I get angry or upset about something, it's like I stop and say, okay, what is going on now? I go for a hike or go for a walk or just doing transcendental meditation. And I'm really observing what's going on and going into my mantra and going deeper and deeper and deeper. And I just stop when I found the core of it all. And then I can go back into life.
Yeah, and it never stops, does it? Anytime
Never.
I meditate and I think, oh, I'm cured, I'm good now. And you stop, and then it's like the universe says, you're never cured. They slam you to something else, right? And
yeah, totally.
it's a way of life. It's not a gimmick. It's not something you do, then not do.
And the ego kicks in at least once a day. And I do meditation at least once a day. It's very important to my everyday habits.
Yeah, I think waking up in the morning and doing your meditation, I like to walk on the grass barefoot, hug a tree, do something that connects you to this vast universe that is all good and pure and beautiful. And we get caught up into life is so hard and ugly, and isn't it dark? And no, it isn't. Life is beautiful. People are dark and ugly and all that stuff. They don't work on themselves. So if you work on yourself, and John works on himself, and Shelly, and whoever else, all these people, life will be beautiful if we all went inward and meditated and got to our core. Because at the core, we were all babies and came in this world, wide-eyed and like, oh, this is an exciting adventure. And then it's like, whack, welcome to reality. So.
Yeah, that's it. Life is beautiful. Even people, as you say, who are ugly or acting ugly or treating other people bad, even they have beauty in themselves, and you can learn so much, even if it's just a reflection of your past me,
Yeah, everyone has their darkness and their light, and whichever one they show more of, but everyone could reach into the light, but they don't want to. But that's okay. That's what makes the world go around. That's life, and you learn to deal with it. But I love the idea of filmmaking and music, and I see you're wearing Taylor Swift, being a positive change in the world. She's a great example of a great mentor, someone who gives back and creating from her life. And it seems like you carry a camera around with you all the time. You're doing the same thing, creating from your life.
Yeah, actually, she saved me somehow because when this wall had this first tiny cracks, it was her music and her voice from a specific album that really helped me getting really deep into my emotions. And that was so great. It was like a nitro, a boost for getting to the core. And that's like, yeah, that's still when, for example, when I'm writing a script and I have to feel sadness or happiness or anger, I have certain Taylor Swift songs who I listen to beforehand and then starting writing the character.
Oh, that's so fascinating. That's wonderful. Yeah, I put on music, like soundtracks with no lyrics, and then that taps into whatever it is I need. I put the emotion on. If I need an angry scene or a melancholic scene or a happy, I put on that tone. Then I'm like getting into it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I love European filmmakers, and I love what you're doing. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the project you're working on now, about your journey here. But who are some of your favorite German or European filmmakers? Like someone who influenced me a lot was Pedro Almodovar. I love Wim
Mm-hmm.
Wenders, Fellini, Lars von Trier,
Oh yeah.
all these phenomenal ones. Have they imprinted something on you? And what's your genre? And what do you want to say to the world in your first film?
Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. A lot. First of all, my favorite German director is Robert Wiene. He was a film director back in the 1919. He was building up the German film business because German film business at that time was much bigger than Hollywood was at that time, and even Hollywood people from Hollywood came over to Germany to learn like storytelling and camera movements and the newest shit. Like it was in Berlin, it was in Potsdam nearby here in Berlin. The very big film production companies were here, and Robert Wiene was someone who had to see the horrors of World War One, and he really wanted to get into this cultural trauma Germans had at that time. And he was making a great movie. It's called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Mm.
And that's like really a huge mirror for German society at that time. And I think that was revolutionary at that time. And it's like more about the inner state of mind of Germans at that time than like showing like objective facts, and that I love this film so much, and everyone should watch it. It's from 1919. It's very old. It's a silent movie, but it's so great if you want to understand the deeper trauma of German culture.
Yeah, can you say it again? The name of it?
The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
So I'm telling Racy to post that so people could.
Yeah. That's
Look
also one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, that's great. I've never even heard of that director or that film. What?
It's so old. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the correct title. Yeah, and unfortunately, many of these great German heroes, in my opinion, fled Germany in 1933, and this knowledge went to Hollywood too. So when I was in Hollywood, I sensed all this magic that was in Germany once before still living in Hollywood, and that's why I love it so much when we met.
Yeah, I want to show a little clip of your journey, little
yes.
of what you do. If we could play that now.
Everything was supposed to be different, By now, I should have been in the States already, making my first feature, living that dream. But then, bam, it hit me. I was too greedy, too reckless. I trusted the wrong people, and instead of pulling the brakes, I tried to find some messy, in-between solutions. What I got was a brutal crash landing in Berlin, a city I didn't want to be anymore. I've been on the highest highs. I've drowned in the lowest lows, and all I can think about is, right now, wiping away the last 30 years and starting fresh in the US. It hurts. It's ugly. And yeah, maybe I just want to shut the whole world out. But then, out of nowhere, I met new artists, my manager, people who aren't like the Germans I thought I knew, people who surprised me.
Oh,
yeah.
And it's just a great example of what all of us go through when we start on our hero's journey. Who am I? And discovering yourself and going through all the trials and tribulations and then coming full circle around of what we go through, and you captured some of that. So please share some of those experiences and, where you are now and what's next for you.
Okay. First of all, the excerpt you saw was from Schnitzel Goes to Hollywood. It's my latest project. It's about, like, you see always the results of stuff, like a super famous director winning an Oscar, or I don't know, like people already achieved what they wanted to achieve. But there's not there's so little about the process itself, and that it's like you have a lot of joy during that journey, you cry a lot that journey, and I just wanted to be brave enough to be one of the first ones to show it. Like when I cry, I put on the camera and I cry and I tell people what's going inside of me. And the same goes for my joy. The same goes for people I meet here, because there are so great people every day. I just cross the street and meet an artist, and that's so great about life. You know, you don't know what's coming next. And what's in that process? Yeah, I lost much in the last years, except of the air in my lungs and the joy along the way. But I restarted everything and I rebuilt, and I know to be done. But I decided, like, one day I woke up and said, no, it can't be Germany anymore to build everything up, to start new. It has to be where my heart feels home. And I was looking at many places. I lived in Sweden, I lived in Spain, I lived in Portugal, I lived in France, and the only place where my heart, not my ego, my heart said, this is home, this is where your tribe is, where your people are, was the United States of America. And that's the next goal.
Is that Los Angeles or all over?
Yeah, it's Los Angeles. Because it's like, I can really sense vibrations of other people when people talk about their traumas, when the people talk about the sadness and also their joy. It's like I can sense it immediately, and where my experiences are. And I never had that with places, but when I was in Los Angeles, it was like this whole city was whispering to me. Like I had a small notebook with me, and there were like instantly every second were new ideas for new feature films, for new characters, for new opportunities, for new things I can build. And that I never had that in any other city or country in the world.
Yeah, that's what I love about LA. Like you, I've traveled all over the world, and LA, I think, is still, for me, the greatest city in the world. But I love to go live in other places for a few months here and there, because I love to capture the essence of the artists over there. Everyone's so different and the same. And it's nice to just connect with fellow artists. Yeah, that's beautiful. So that leads us to, when we met, we said, oh, we should do something. And it's top secret right now, but you're actually coming here to LA. Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
Tomorrow. Yeah. I'm like, why are we doing this now instead of when you're here in LA? Yeah, you're coming here tomorrow, and we're going to try to brainstorm our project and see if that works out. And that would be a combination of Europe and United States, which is really nice, blending the two, just like who we are and really what the world is. We're all one, combining our energies and our spirituality and art.
And it can't be forced. It's just like you walk into a room and suddenly found family you didn't know they even existed.
Yeah. And it really is that easy when you're open and when you're on your path. So I want to give that advice to everyone out there who's listening of, if you really want to create and be a creative or be a speaker, an author, a filmmaker, anything, it's right there in front of you. What you have to do is just be and stop doing. And yes, your thoughts create your reality, and action is important. But the way to really create magic is to be open, be present. Just like when I met Phil, we were both open and present and just talking about something else and chilling. And then it's like something else could unfold, because you go, oh, this person I really kind of connect to. Let's take it to the next step. And we didn't know that we might be working together on this film, but when you're open, magic happens. And everyone is a miracle. Everyone is a guide. Everyone is a mentor, negative or positive, but you get to digest it, and it's all up here. There's no bad day, no bad person. It's how you think about it that makes it that. So if you're going to let someone who's hating on you or judging you live free in your brain, and you're going to give them all that energy, it's like, think about every negative thought in your head. You have to give that person $1. and you won't be thinking negatively. So you're just staying open. Then you're going, oh, here's a beautiful soul. This might be nice. And then things just happen. Out of the hundreds of people, well, I've met thousands probably by now, that I've met and worked with over the years, almost all of them had magic stories of how they met their partners, how they met their life partners, their working partners, and their creative family. Just like you said, Phil, you came here and you met your family, you met different people right away because you're open and you're like, I'm hungry for that. So it's not about just doing, it's about being. And once you're being, you get to do and create. We have a couple of minutes left. Would you like to talk a little bit about that or your experience with that?
About LA and about what was sort of magical about it, or?
No, about meeting someone or meeting, the creative process of how to create something you want. Like you want to do a film. How do you create the finances, the team, and the energy and the ideas and help it all come together?
Yeah. For example, I have a film I want to shoot someday when I collected the budget. But before we got into that stage, we were thinking about like we have to write a script and we have to make an investment teaser. And this project is called Götterdämmerung. And this whole project is about what I experienced here in Germany, because I have a very wild family history. Some of my ancestors were hardcore Nazis. Some of my ancestors were in the German resistance. There was like a very small German resistance who helped people flee the country, for example, from my family side. And it was so like interesting when we had like when there was a birthday of my grandfather, for example, and these two worlds colliding and discussing and everything. And I thought those are very interesting stories, especially when the world around you seems dark, and how they lifted themselves up because they were alone. They were like in wooden cabins in the forest, and Nazi guards were patrolling at the German-French border, and they had to bring people over the country into the other country, and they were afraid. They were afraid to be caught. They were afraid to die, and that they can't achieve their goal to save human lives, and that is so intense. And when you have that strong emotions, when you can feel it, how they have felt back then, probably, then you can't stop working on that project. It's like a calling. It's like you wake up with the next idea for that project, and you go to bed with like a notebook full of ideas, and then you suddenly start writing. Then you start telling people about that. And for this investment teaser, we needed like 80K back then in Germany. And I just walked into an actors school and said, maybe I need some actors in the near future. And then there was one guy, and he said, and do you also need some money for that project? And I said 80K, and he said, deal. It's like sometimes it's easy like that, when you're just like really passionate about it and tell people that it's like that are real human emotions, because I can't invent emotions. I have to feel them by talking to the people who lived through it, or like I had to live through these emotions and compare to the original ones of the actors, of the real people back then. And that's sometimes very intense.
Yes, it is. I think your background's very intense. And I think you're going to create a lot of magic through that. And you're going to heal a lot of people with your passion and with your stories. And you're not afraid to go into the darkness. Though for anyone watching, sometimes your darkness really brings your passion. Pain equals passion and power. If you know how to be an alchemist and turn it into that, instead of sitting with this happened to me and that happened to me and I can't move forward in life because of A, B, or C. So no, you can do anything you want. Life is yours to take. Life is a game. I think we are in a video game. So
yeah.
Just play your part and have a good time, and know that there are no mistakes, because everything takes you where you're supposed to be. and everything in my life that I went, oh, I can't believe that happened to me, or that person did this. I'm like, namaste, my friend. Thank you for that. Because every negative or positive led me to look at myself in a different way, do, excavating of stuff that I didn't know was parts of me that I could use in my material and use to help people and use to be a light in the world. So thank you so much, Phil, for being here. I appreciate it. All the way from Berlin, taking the time to do this. I appreciate it. I'll see you tomorrow. And thank you, everyone. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much.
I'm Lisa Haysha, creator of SoulBlazing. I hack how you can change the negative thoughts in your head that hold you back. I call them imposters. I introduce you to them, teach you how to befriend them, and co-create with them, releasing old negative narratives. As a keynote speaker at your next event, I'll help your team turn into master communicators with more camaraderie, which brings more efficiency and growth to your organization.